I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
I recently did a very silly thing. I bought myself a caravan, and thus added my quota to the tally of pests that today inhabit the roads. However, there it is. And so, in search of a little well-earned rest, I pulled my drawing-room come office come sleeper come dining room onto a little clearing very near the New Forest in Hampshire. I'd armed myself with several good books, and on the way down bought sundry of the late evening editions. Thus I relaxed and read what might be called my press notices. One of them read as follows. The Grey Goose still defies the police. In a period of over 3 years, it is estimated no less than £40,000 in jewels and cash have been acquired, I like acquired, by this unscrupulous daredevil, daredevil's good, from unsuspecting victims. True, at least £35,000 has been received by institutions such as hospitals and charity organizations as a gift from this modern Robin Hood. At the same time, the police, seemingly apathetic in the matter, should be disciplined into the idea that definite and decisive action must be taken. I'm sorry, gentlemen of the press. I can't bother to read any more. I wonder what's on the air.
Concluding the news, it would appear that a further dramatic raid was carried out by an old and familiar enemy, the Grey Goose, last night.
Well, I'm damned. Who the deuce once said a man can't get away from himself? I certainly don't know, but he was very definitely right. Well, what the dickens is that?
Hey, you! What's the meaning of this?
I say, look here, that's my new paintwork you're knocking about. Where are you?
Down here on your starboard side.
Sounds like Tugboat Annie herself. I can't see you, it's too dark.
Well, come out of that contraption. I want some help.
Wait on, I'll bring a torch.
Hurry, you bones!
Now I see you. You have a tricycle.
This is not a tricycle, it's an invalid-mobile. You see, I'm lame. Can't walk.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Mighty clumsy of me.
Don't be a fool. You didn't do it. A horse who knew more than I did chucked me off and walked on my legs years ago. Now, don't say you're sorry.
All right. I'm not sorry. How's that?
Much better. Now, I said I wanted some help.
Oh, of course. Anything I can do?
Well, this chair of mine is petrol-driven, see? But somehow the tarnation thing's jibbed and won't gallop. So here I am, stuck at the bottom of the hill and can't move.
You know what's wrong?
Yes, battery's gone.
Oh, that's bad.
Yes, of course it is.
How far have you to go?
About 2 miles to the house.
Well, I could push your chair.
No, you couldn't. Not uphill, 2 miles and 12 stone a woman in it.
All right. I could drive you in my car.
And what about the chair? I want that when I get home.
Then I could tow the chair.
You've been a long time thinking about it.
I'm sorry.
And don't keep on being sorry. Getting on my nerves. Is your car near?
Oh, yes, just over there. I uncoupled the caravan not more than an hour ago. I'll just get a rope out of the boot and have you home in 10 minutes.
Well, don't just talk. Get doing something.
Oh, yes, of course. I'll just get the car on the road. Now we're set. I'll just make the rope fast and hitch your little jigger to the coupling on the rear of the car. Then we'll get you in alongside me.
No, you don't. I ride in my own mobile, see? Behind you.
But you'll sway about terribly.
Don't be a darned idiot. I can steer myself if you go fairly slow. Get a move on.
Oh, just as you say. Hold on there.
Not up worrying. Get going. 2 miles and turn in at the gates of Tower House. Up to the house.
Right. My hat, what do you look like? This looks like it. Jiminy cricket, the haunted grange if ever there was one. Hope Edgar Allan Poe's not at home. Not a light to be seen. Oh. Well, pull up. Well, madam, here we are. Front porch of Tower House.
Good heavens, she's out to it.
Oh, great Scott, why didn't I think of that? She's poisoned. Carbon monoxide off my exhaust. Hi! Hi! Help, someone! Open up! Help! Found it. Is everybody dead in the place? Help! Oh, dash it all. The door is open. Telephone. Now, where is the telephone? Ah, here it is. Hello? Oh, is that you, Exchange? Yes. A doctor, please, at Tower House. Very urgent. Carbon monoxide poisoning. Bring oxygen. Right.
She'll be quite all right now. Leave her as she is on that settee. Wasn't very severe.
Oh, thank heavens for that, Doctor.
Fact is, though she inhaled a considerable quantity of carbon monoxide from your exhaust, it was diluted by the fresh air before it actually reached her.
She'd have been a gone coon else.
Mm-hmm. Nothing is more certain.
My hat, what an escape. By the way, who is she?
She's Miss Martha Enderby of Tower House, one of the oldest families in these parts. Fabulously wealthy.
And a cripple.
Yes, it happened years before I came to this neighborhood. Horse rolled on her.
And now she's all alone in this great old ghost residence.
Oh, no. She has a twin sister, Carol.
Well, where's she?
Oh, goodness knows. They are never seen about together. Apparently don't speak. Haven't done so for years.
Surely the other woman...
Carol?
Carol Enderby would unbend in circumstances like these.
Yeah, I understand not. Look, you and I have had a strenuous time with old Martha. We couldn't be quiet about it, and yet Carol, who must have heard us moving about, didn't show up.
Her hate must be pretty definite.
Yes, it is. It's very strange, too, because Carol is kind and charitable. Active, too. Not like Martha, who hasn't walked for years.
Extraordinary. I wonder where she is.
Oh, probably out, or she may even be in the house. If you're staying in the neighborhood a few days, you may run into her. Well, I'll be on my way. There's no more danger. Old Martha will be herself in no time. By the way, we'll just put her invalid chair alongside the settee. Give me a hand, will you?
Right, sure.
That's better. Thanks. Well, are you coming my way?
Not just yet. I think I'll hang around the Goblin's Castle for a while. Sort of stand by in case the old girl wants a hand. Have they no help at all?
Well, there's a sort of old retainer, Mark Cutler. Lives in an old gardener's hut on the estate. Who cuts their firewood for him and such chores. You might find him round. Eccentric old bird, but quite harmless. One-time sailor.
I might find him and word him up.
All right. Well, I must be on my way. I'm glad I was able to help.
I'll ring you back at your house if anything happens.
Yes, do. Are you walking over to my car with me?
Yes. You know, Doctor, something's tickling my back. I'm curious. Somehow I never take things at face value. Would there be any objection to me having a prowl around?
Wasting your time. But go ahead if you're curious. I think, however, you'll learn more in the village in the daytime. Well, good night. I might see you later.
Good night. I'll definitely look you up before I leave. Good night. As Alice said, this is curiouser and curiouser. Ghastly old place. This path seems to lead to the back premises. Great Scott, who did that?
Standy there. Don't ye move a inch. The next one I lets off will not be across your bow. It'll be amidships.
Ahoy there, sailor. It's a friend.
Stand by, friend or foe, to be identified.
All right, I'm standing by, so what? And be careful with that gun.
You'll be trespassing, that's what.
On the contrary, my man. I've just been the means of bringing your mistress safely home.
Which mistress?
Miss Martha Enderby.
I did see as how the doctor's automobile was in the front drive. Was you with him?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we managed to save Miss Martha from very serious hurt. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going back to the house to see she's still all right, after which I propose to take myself off.
Hear that there?
Sound as if the front door had slammed shut.
He'd have that. And wild horses and oxen, too, will not get that door open again this here night. 'Tis the orders, and never no one can alter it. 'Tain't no use ringing bells and such, neither.
In that case, I'll wish you good night.
And be off with you if you've got sense.
You'd be Mark Cutler, I suppose.
That be truth. Baptized in this here very parish. Well, I'm going about my business. You know where the front gate be. Take it, and sit your till a due west.
All the same, sailor man, I'm curious. And I think being at the back, I'll make a little reconnaissance. kitchen door, apparently. And open. I really think I should go and see how my patient is. Dark as Erebus.
Good evening.
But, why, excuse me, the sudden light rather dazzled me.
I quite understand it now. Can I ask you what you are doing in my kitchen at this time of night?
But you're walking, standing up.
I am Carol Enderby, sister of Martha.
Oh, of course, I should have guessed that.
Yes. I believe you gave some assistance to my sister tonight.
Why, yes. You must excuse me, but I'm frightfully bewildered for the moment. The likeness is so astonishing.
We have frequently been told that, but you haven't yet answered my question. What are you doing in my kitchen?
An intrusion, I fear, but I was curious as to how my patient was, and as the front door had slammed, I felt I must try and find my way in elsewhere.
Quite a natural decision, but do not alarm yourself about my sister. I heard the doctor say she was quite out of danger.
Yes, that's true. All the same, if you'd be good enough to conduct me to that front room where we, the doctor and I, later on the lounge, I'd go away much happier.
I and my sister have not spoken for 30 years. So I wouldn't think of conducting you there.
Then may I be, I can find my own way. Excuse me.
You will not. You will go out the way you came in. Cutler?
And so commences the strange adventure of Rolland Fletcher with the ancient twins. How will this involve the fortunes of the Grey Goose?
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
My caravan holiday in Hampshire led me to making the acquaintance of Martha Enderby, an elderly cripple who used a powered invalid chair. She was in difficulties, so I towed her up to her great country residence, Tower House. To my horror, she'd passed out from the carbon monoxide fumes from my exhaust. However, a doctor arrived in time. I found she was the twin of Miss Carol Enderby, a much gentler type. Curiosity got the better of me again, and I ran into the twin sister Carol, who forbade me going to see how Martha was. Apparently, though living in the same house, they'd not been seen together for 30 years, and never spoke to one another.
That shot was from Cutler, who watches the house and does odd jobs for me. If I call him again, he will very definitely shoot you.
How very nice. All the same, I can't see why you and he should object to my going along to your sister's room just to see that she's none the worse.
I'm very sorry, but I'm sure she wouldn't like it.
How do you know? You haven't seen her. The doctor told me that you and she never exchange a word.
That is true. All the same, such is my order. And should you use force on a very frail woman, I have only to call the faithful Cutler, who will most certainly fire.
In that case, I have no option. Good night, Miss Carroll. I'm sorry to have troubled you.
Not at all. Apparently, you have been most kind. And some other time, maybe, I shall be able to better thank you. Good night.
Well, the heavenly twins. I think I'll do a bit of snooping around these parts before I leave. Yes, I'd better send for Barbara in the morning. She can stay at the local.
So, you go adventuring again?
Like greatness, some have adventure chucked at them. Found out anything at the pub?
Oh, not much more than the doctor told you. The twin Enderbys, Martha and Carol, are at daggers drawn. Have been for 30 years. Never speak, never seen together. Martha as cantankerous as they make 'em. Carol, gentle and everybody's favourite.
Any visitors at the Tower House?
Very few. The vicar now and then, but not encouraged. The grocer, milkman, baker, etc. leave Martha's goods at the front door, Carol's at the back door. Did you ever know anything so absurd?
It does sound screwy, doesn't it? You didn't meet either of them in the village, did you?
Not a sign of them. I must say I'd like to.
You may. Martha's the one with the chair. Carol is as straight as a die. Physically, I mean. Did you find out anything of their standing?
Oh, yes. They were joint heiresses of old Colonel Enderby, share and share alike. The local solicitor, Mr. Merlin, administers the estate, pays them by cheque into separate banks.
You didn't hear of any love story or entanglement, eh?
Well, there was a story that Martha stole away, as it were, Carol's boyfriend many years ago, and there was a very bitter row, but he died, so nothing came of it for either of them.
Except the extraordinary estrangement. All right.
Surely you're not going to stick your nose into this ancient feud?
Why should I not? I've had an adventure pushed under my nose. I'm incurably curious, as you know, and mark you, I very much dislike being shot at.
You're wasting your time. Of that I'm certain. It isn't as if you'll gain anything from it.
Oh, maybe not. Well, how do you like my caravan?
Oh, it's a beauty. And if you'll take my advice, you'll get it rolling in the least possible time.
Maybe I will, and maybe I'll not. However, I've asked you over to give you lunch a la gypsy, and lunch you shall have. Just let the table flat down, and we'll get ready.
Mm-hmm. Where's the tablecloth?
In that bottom drawer.
Good. Rolly!
Eh?
What's this?
What's what?
This, a necklace. Diamonds at that.
My hat! Where did that come from?
I'm asking you. I thought you were on a holiday.
Where did you find it?
Under the tablecloth. Rolly, this is probably a very well-known jewel. Do you think it was worth the risk?
This is not one of my successes. This is something I know nothing about. By Jove, it's magnificent.
And it's worth about 5 years' hard labor for you if you're found with it. Are you sure you haven't been sleepwalking?
Definitely. The point is, who's the owner?
And more important, who lifted it and planted it on you, and why?
Well, that settles matters. I'll have to stay around these parts now. Old ladies or no old ladies, I'll now have to find out where this came from and return it.
How? Who's going to believe you found a diamond necklace in your caravan? In any case, you don't know to whom it belongs.
We'll jolly soon find out. The owner will set up a hue and cry before long. There'll be news of a robbery in the papers, surely.
Yes, I suppose so. Well, there's nothing to do now, so let's put it back.
Hey there!
Who on earth's that?
It sounds very much like my friend Martha Enderby, one of the twins. Good day, Miss Enderby. Didn't think you'd be fit enough to go calling today.
Fit enough? Take more than your dirty exhaust to knock me out. Came down to thank you.
Let me introduce you to Miss Barbara Havisham.
How'd you do?
How do you do?
I'd like to look over your contraption. What about it?
Well, by all means,
That's all right. My legs aren't any good, I know, but the two of you could lift me out of my chair and set me on the top step, eh?
Oh, but of course. Give me a hand, Barbara.
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, 12 stone, you know, every ounce of it. Now, heave! That's it. Now, both of you turn your backs. I'll make the rest of the journey my own way, but I don't want an audience. I'll sing out when I'm ready. All right, I'm set.
Well, how do you like it?
Fair enough for idiots and honeymooners, but I like a bit of room to get around in. Well, now, young man, I believe you met that mealy-mouthed sister of mine last night.
That's right, I did. The front door slammed, so I tried the back. I was anxious to know how you were. It was there I met Miss Carroll.
And she wouldn't let you come to the front of the house?
That's so?
Probably got old Cutler to fire off his gun at you, eh?
Yes. She called to him, and sure enough, he blazed off.
Just as I thought. You know she's loco, that one. Mad as a church. Pity she won't die. Tower House is a big place, but it ain't big enough for both of us.
It seems funny to me, Miss Martha. People around here seem to like her.
That's because she's so mealy-mouthed. Sweet winning smile and all that bunkum. But I've been her sister for many years, I know. And 30-odd years ago she did me the worst turn any woman could do another. Well, as you like Carol so much, I'll be on my way.
Oh, please, Miss Martha, don't
Shut up. Turn your backs while I scramble for the steps, then heave me into my chariot. Right. Now, heave. And don't forget the 12 stone and don't drop me.
Lend a hand again, Barbara.
Oh, yes.
Up. All set.
Shall I give you a tow up the hill?
What? After last night? No fear. This gadget starts very easily. He's off. See you again.
Well, of all the quaint characters.
A real old terror.
You think so? I don't. She's a very much misunderstood old woman. Bitter, yes, but she really has been injured. I mean in heart as well as in body.
Well, we'd better get on with the lunch, I promised you. So far, we've only got the tablecloth on and a £10,000 diamond necklace.
I'll start making the coffee, eh? Good heavens.
Good heavens, what?
Look. Oh, no, it can't be true.
What can't be true?
Your coffee tin is richer than most by a diamond bracelet.
What?
Well, look for yourself.
A bracelet to match the necklace? In heaven's name, what is this? Listen, Barbara, I paid a lot of money for this caravan, but I didn't ask for a diamond-studded one.
You're sure you haven't been grey goosing round here?
Of course I haven't. And would I plant the profits in such obvious places if I had?
Well, I think I'll go back to the pub for lunch, don't you?
Perhaps it would be better. We might be chewing emeralds and rubies with our fruit salad if we stay here. I say,
Yes?
I don't suppose the old lady planted that bracelet on me.
How could she? And if she did, what object could she have in doing so?
Yes, of course. All right, let's go to the pub for lunch. But before we do go, I'm going to search this caravan from end to end. I might even find the Koh-i-Noor.
Why are we here, Rolly? What have you got up your sleeve?
Did you read the papers this morning?
My word, I did.
And did you see a report that a £10,000 diamond necklace and a £2,000 diamond bracelet had been stolen?
Not a word in any of the papers, even the local.
That's strange, isn't it? Nobody's missed their diamonds yet. That's why we're in the public library.
You can be cryptic. What do we look for? Crossword puzzles?
No, we look over old files of the local paper to see in what year robberies did take place locally or thereabouts. You know, I've got a hunch. If my caravan diamonds were yesterday's news, they'd be in today's papers. Well, they're not. I've looked at last week's. Still no mention.
But I still don't see...
They're old news, forgotten. Don't you realize that if this were hot is the term, there'd be a hue and cry? Ergo, they're cold. A forgotten, unsolved robbery.
Well, the theft may not have been discovered yet, but that doesn't explain how you got them.
Listen, my doubting Thomas, I didn't steal them. But unless I know where they came from, I'm uneasy. And as a poet once remarked, uneasy lies the head that wears a tiara.
He said crown.
By tiara, I mean diamond necklace, bracelets, and whatnot.
Oh.
And I'm uneasy. Now, go over these old local rags and see if anything cooks in them re jewel robberies. Got it.
You really found something?
Yes, listen. A further robbery last night was carried out during a party at Mort House. No less than £5,000 in jewels was taken. This is the 6th in this county, and so far the police have failed to find the malefactor. 6th, eh? Here, let's turn back a bit.
Here's another. The safe of Mrs. Vaughan of the Chase was rifled of £3,000 worth of jewellery last evening. It would appear the thieves made their haul during a dinner party at which Mrs. Vaughan was, etc., etc.
Local bigwig?
Yes, Clover Lodge, Hampshire.
Here's an editorial. The depredations of thieves in this county would point to coordinated, or at any rate a very skillful organization who seem to know exactly where to pounce on their unsuspecting victims. Jewels and personal belongings are, it seems, no longer safe, even in the house of one's friend. Police failure in this respect surely seems to indicate a severe and searching inquiry, etc., etc., etc.
Well, where does this get us?
Actually, I don't know. But I did have an idea.
Do you think your diamond necklace and bracelet was stolen all that long time ago?
But I may be wrong.
And if so, how did they get into your caravan 30 years later?
30 years later. My hat. Now I have got an idea.
An idea with Rolland Fletcher generally leads to action. So follow the next chapter and find out where this idea gets the Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
On my caravan holiday, I met the elderly twins, Martha and Carol Enderby, both living at Enderby, at the Tower House. Neither has spoken to the other for 30 years. Martha, the crippled one, gets around in a power-driven invalid's chair. There's a mystery about the Tower House which definitely attracts me. Further, I find my caravan has become the receptacle for almost £12,000 worth of diamond jewellery. Barbara and I examined the archives of Enderby village and find that 30 years ago the district received the attentions of a jewel thief, and none of the jewels had ever been recovered.
What on earth makes you think your diamonds at the caravan have anything to do with those old robberies?
Just a hunch. This 30 years seems to crop up all over the place. The sisters haven't spoken for 30 years. Martha was crippled 30 years ago. The robberies took place 30 years ago, according to these papers. Too many 30s for my liking. I'm not a numerologist, but there is a connection, I'm sure. All right, let's go. There's nothing more in the library to help. Come on. Oh, thank you.
Quite welcome, sir. I hope the old files were useful to you.
Very, thank you. Quite an interesting patch of local colour.
Oh, by the way, sir, today's local paper has just arrived, and I notice that we've been the scene of a big robbery.
Is that so? When?
Last night. Oh, but here's the paragraph. It says, Mr. Lionel Moffat at Kerrin Abbey was the victim of thieves who broke into the Abbey house and managed to steal a diamond necklace and bracelet which has been a family heirloom for generations.
Good heavens. Does it give any further particulars?
Yes, it goes on to describe the necklace as consisting of 40 large and matched diamonds. The bracelet 12 ditto, as it were, must be worth a fortune. Dear, oh dear. It's many years since we had anything like that happen. I remember as a young man we had quite a series of robberies hereabouts. Must be 30 years or more.
Mr. Hope, this is not an epidemic.
Oh, quite so, quite so. Well, goodbye, sir. Any time you want anything, just pop in.
Thank you, I will. Come on, Barbara, we'll drive back. Hold it till we get in the car.
You and your numerology.
All right.
If you ask me, you and your caravan are sitting on the proceeds of a jewel robbery about 24 hours old, not 30 years. So now what?
Back to the caravan and empty them out. My hat, a stranger in the neighborhood with a caravan. I'll be the central point of suspicion and investigation. Come on, this isn't so good.
Mind you, I do believe you've got something in your 30 years theory, but I can't see how this latest job ties up.
Well, I do, or I do a little. Listen, I've had 2 visits from the crippled Martha. Twice I've received a gift of diamonds. I wonder if she has something to do with it.
How could she?
I've no idea, but I'm suspicious. Now, to get rid of the darn things is the trouble. There's something in these parts which smells to high heaven. The twins are fishy, the diamonds are fishy. If the police haven't already searched the caravan, I'll be the luckiest man alive.
Well, no one around. Your police friends, if they've been, have departed.
Good, but we won't take too much for granted. Cast your eye around while I park the car.
Right.
Somehow I think I'll pay a call on the Tower House later. There's some connection, I'm sure, and I'm going to find it.
Rolling, quickly.
Right. Now, what's the panic?
They're not here.
What?
The jewels.
Are you certain?
Almost. The necklace is not in that drawer. I looked. Then I looked for the bracelet in the coffee tin. It's not there.
Then we've had a visit from the police after all.
Or someone else.
Someone else?
If it had been the police, they'd have left a man on guard.
Of course. Well, that's a relief. So we can assume it is someone else.
But who?
That I'm going to find out tonight. You see, I think the whole of these curious happenings are centered in Tower House and on those comic old twins. Later, when it's really dusk, I'm going to explore.
My heaven, what's that?
That, if I'm not much mistaken, is one Mark Cutler, handyman at Tower House.
So, ye be there, mister?
Yes, I be there, and what's the idea of the shooting?
Allus puts one a star or ahead, just to signal as I'm bearing down on you, so to speak.
Well, don't go putting shots astern or ahead of me. I don't like it.
You're on our land, see, so you got to like it.
All right. Why, if one may ask, are you bearing down on me?
Got a signal? Stand by to receive.
All right, I'm standing by. Who's the signal from?
From Miss Carol Enderby. She says, you're trespassing. Get off the Enderby paddock with that craft of yourn at once. 'Twill be better for you.
So Miss Carol Enderby orders me off.
That's so. Up anchor and set sail.
And what does Miss Martha say?
Don't take no orders at all from Miss Martha.
Well, I'm sorry I'm trespassing. Sailing in protected waters, as it were. Please convey my regrets to Miss Carol and say that I'll set sail first thing in the morning.
Aye, aye, sir.
And look here, no more of that pop gun of yours or I'll bust it over your head. Now off you go and give my message to Miss Carol. I'll get away in the morning.
Aye, aye. I'll tell her.
That's a strange character.
Yes, he is. And mighty dangerous. An enthusiast, devoted to Carol. Obviously hates the other sister Martha. He's a sort of warden on the estate and wanders around with that gun, firing it whenever the fit takes him. He's the one we have to look out for tonight.
But what has this got to do with the jewel theft?
Nothing that I can see yet, but one thing at a time. Let's sort out the twins first, then the jewels. There's a connection somewhere.
Well, we can safely assume the police haven't removed the jewels from the caravan.
That much is certain. And now to return to the twins. Now get this clear. Martha is the one in the wheelchair.
Yes, I've seen her.
Carol is the other. You haven't seen her, but I have. Now tonight, I'm going to have a good look over the Tower House. You'll watch the front door. There's a ramp down the steps over which Martha runs her gadget. I'll be exploring the back. You'll hide in the shrubbery immediately opposite the front door. If Martha leaves, you'll come round the back and let me know.
Right.
We leave here in 15 minutes. Wear your black slacks, black jumper and mask.
Rolly?
Yes. Anything to report?
Yes. Martha with chair left a few minutes ago. I followed her down to the main gate.
She didn't see you?
I'm certain she didn't. She turned left, then I came back and reported.
Left, you said?
Yes. Down the road on the estate boundary.
You didn't see her turn in anywhere?
No.
Good. Well, that means we've only Carol to contend with. I've already opened the back door, so come on. I'm hoping Carol's out, too.
We're placing ourselves very much in the wrong if she isn't out.
We're placing ourselves in the wrong, in or out.
Well, no one about so far. Not a soul in the house. They must both be out.
Hurl over, my beauties, and come alongside.
Oh, my heaven.
Just our mad sailorman again. Hello, Cutler.
Stand and declare yourself.
Cutler, I've warned you not to be so free with that gun.
Hold off, I tell ye. This is my watch. The next shot goes amidship, see? Heaven save us, be ye man or ghost. The shot went clean through you.
Now, there's a good fellow. Give me that gun. So, now we're the boarding party, so hold down your flags.
Must you hit him like that, Rolly?
I must. And darn sorry I am to do it.
He was only doing his duty.
Yes, I know. I'll try to make it up to him sometime later. But for the moment, he's a danger and a nuisance. That gun sounds a mile off.
How was it we weren't hit?
Blanks, my dear. All noise and no danger. All the same, the sound of the shot may complicate matters. It may bring visitors, so we must hurry. I want to get an eyeful of this place before I go.
What are you looking for?
Frankly, I don't know. Front room first. This is Martha's room. Yes, this is where the doctor and I put her on the settee. It's funny how quickly she recovered from that gassing.
This must be hers. Look at the wheel marks on the carpet. Place smells of petrol, too.
She drives a petrol-operated chair, remember. For heaven's sake, there's tins of it in every cupboard.
What a stupid place to store it.
The insurance people would take a very dim view of it, I'm certain. Go on, Barbara. Get a move on with the search. I have a feeling in my ulcer we haven't much time.
Rolly, look. A diary. A cupboard full of them. Going back for years past. I don't think I want to look at them.
Then don't, but I will.
No, please.
Listen, my girl, we can't afford to be squeamish. Tell you what, heave 2 or 3 out of the window. I'll look them over later.
I hate this.
Now, wait. When was the last written?
Let's see. 23rd of November. Good heavens. This very latest one is nearly 30 years old.
30 years. 30 years.
30 years. Rolly, what does it mean?
Hey, wait on. Has that diary got a name in the front?
Yes, Martha Enderby.
Look, for heaven's sake, Barbara. Is there a later diary than that?
Now, let me see. What's this one? No, definitely not.
So Martha Enderby didn't write another diary in the ensuing 30 years. Strange. All right, Barbara, on with the search.
This old upright chest. Oh, I do wish I knew what we were looking for. Rolly, I've got an awful feeling. Please, let's go.
I'm sorry, my dear. We may be uncovering some ghosts of the past, but I'm thinking of that diamond necklace and bracelet of the present.
This can't have any bearing on them.
No. Then what of this old ottoman I've just opened?
Rolly!
Diamonds, rubies, emeralds. A king's ransom, my dear.
She must be terribly wealthy.
Wealthy? These, my girl, are the spoils of those 30-year-old robberies we've heard about.
It means...
That Martha, young society girl in those days, was a very accomplished thief.
I can't believe it.
All right, to continue. Let's have a go at the upright chest. By Jove, it's a good lock, too.
I've had enough. Rolly, let's go. There's a lot here I don't understand and more I don't like.
This lock hasn't been opened for 30 years.
How I hate the sound of those words.
Let's fix it. Oh, my heaven.
Oh!
A skeleton.
And so, with this gruesome find, Rolland Fletcher feels he's confronted with a solution to the mystery. A solution of which you'll hear in the next episode of The Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
The Tower House and the twin Enderbys, Martha and Carol, had got me completely puzzled. To add to my bewilderment, no less than £12,000 worth of diamonds was discovered by Barbara in my caravan. These were the proceeds of a robbery but 2 days old. I did some research among old papers in Enderby village and discovered that a series of daring jewel robberies had been carried out 30 years previously. Acting on a hunch, Barbara and I took the opportunity of searching Tower House. I was compelled, however, to silence, for the time, the old handyman Cutler. To our surprise, we came across a diamond hoard in Martha's room. Then, opening an old upright chest, we were horrified by its contents.
A skeleton.
Yes, a skeleton.
How ghastly. Shut the door, for heaven's sake. Oh, Rolly, what does it mean?
Somehow I'm beginning to see a lot of things fairly clearly.
Tell me later. I'm getting out of this terrible room.
We'll both get out. But I'm going to find Carol's room first and have a look in there.
Must you?
Yes. Come on, it'll be upstairs, because the only bedroom on this floor is Martha's. She couldn't negotiate the stairs. Look, if you'd rather stay down here, do so. You could warn me of the approach of anyone.
No fear. I'm not staying round these parts by myself for anything.
All right, up we go. Here we are. Here's the front room.
I don't like this, Rolly. I feel low.
Well,
an intruder.
Let's have a good look round quickly and then get out.
I'm not opening any cupboards. Listen.
Hey?
Listen.
Holy mackerel, that's Martha coming back. Come to the window.
I can hardly see it. It's got so dark. The old man Cutler in the kitchen. The man you knocked out. What if she discovers him?
My word, yes. All right, we'll go, pronto. Come on. Out the back way if we've time. Hurry, girl.
Just made it, I think.
Barbara, I've evolved a horror story that beats anything I've ever heard of. There's one thing, however, I haven't sorted out yet. Why were those newly stolen diamonds taken out of this caravan?
Why were they put here in the first place?
Oh, that's easy. The thief, whoever he was, wanted a quick hiding place.
Do you know who took them in the first place?
Yes, I'm almost certain, but... Hold it, someone at the door.
Are you in?
Yes? Oh, do come in. Why, it's Miss Carroll.
Yes, it is, but I'm not coming in.
But why not? I've had the pleasure of entertaining Miss Martha. Why not you?
That's her affair. I've come to repeat the message I sent Cutler with. He told you to get off our land.
That's right. And I promised him I'd move in the morning.
I do not like strangers about, especially strangers whom I meet spying round our house.
As I told you yesterday, I came up to see how Miss Martha was after she'd been gassed by the exhaust from my car.
Very well, then. I accepted that.
In a very peculiar way. You forbade me to go to her room and ask her. You even called Cutler to use his gun.
I do as I like, as I'm entitled to with strangers, suspicious ones. And now I'm leaving you.
Would you like me to drive you up to the house?
No, thank you. Please go away by the morning. I do not wish to be rude, but we prefer it that way. Good night.
Good night. Oh, how is Cutler?
He's very well. Why shouldn't he be?
Exactly. Why shouldn't he be? One more thing. Give my kind regards to Miss Martha.
I'm sorry I cannot do that. We endeavour never to see each other. Good night.
Didn't even see Cutler in the back of the house. Well, what do you know?
I don't know anything, but apparently you do.
Yes, I do. Barbara, my dear, there goes a dangerously mad woman.
No.
But yes. And moreover, my dear, she packs a gun.
What?
I could see the outline of a small automatic under the waist of that blouse she was wearing. I saw also a diamond bracelet under the sleeve of that same blouse.
Do you mean to say that elderly lady stole those diamonds 48 hours ago?
I'm practically certain of it. And another thing. I believe she stole those diamonds we saw in Martha's room 30 years ago.
It's fantastic. And she's hung on to them all these years?
Yes, to gloat over them at times. Those sort of people don't steal for profit. They're merely fascinated by the gems and ridden by a sort of possession complex.
What are you going to do about it?
Difficult to say at present. I can't very well go to the police.
Why not?
Well, I'd have to say I made an illegal entry, wouldn't I? Or how would I know? And there's another factor. The skeleton.
Dear heaven, yes. I thought people's bones sort of fell apart when...
The flesh tissues had perished, you mean?
Yes. But that skeleton was complete.
Yes, so I noticed. A skillful medico or surgeon, however, can assemble the bones, staples, wires, rivets and such. Hence the complete skeletons in museums and medical colleges.
So that one may be one of those?
Yes, maybe. Maybe not.
You don't think so? Rolly, what have you discovered? You're keeping something back. Gosh, why don't you get on with your caravan tour, and I'll get back to town. I've got prickles in my spine.
I'll drive you to the station if you like, but I doubt if you'll find a train for a few hours yet. Wait. I've got an idea. Look, my dear, things are really very serious.
What is the idea?
I'm going to try out something and set my mind at rest over this business. Come on, help me. I'm going to couple up the caravan and drive away.
But she said you could wait for daylight.
I know, but all the same. You back the car for me, and don't ask any questions. I'll just pull the old girl's leg a bit.
Ready?
That's it. I'll fix the coupling in a minute. That's got it. Now, off we go.
Which way?
Towards Tower House. It's only a couple of miles, and we'll drive slowly past.
I think I see what you're up to. You want her to think you've gone, and you're going back to that horrible house.
I am. coming in with me?
I wouldn't stay on this lonely road by myself for a crown. Did you see her standing at her window as we passed?
Yes, that's all to the good. I was hoping she'd hear us. Now, quiet. I don't want to run into our crazy cutler and his gun.
I think I can just see the room through this crack in the shutters. Wonder whether the other sister's in.
No, Barbara. Martha's not really in.
But she is. I can see her. Good heavens, she's standing up.
That's not Martha. That's Carol.
But...
Watch her. Look. The ottoman. She's getting all those jewels out. Putting them on.
Masses of them.
You're watching an exhibition of that lust for possession I mentioned earlier.
Oh, for heaven's sake, let's go away.
Not yet. Listen.
My beauties. My sparkling beauties. Jewels, how I love you. And how well you suit me. I declare I am a queen.
Oh, I can't stand this.
Everybody always maintained I was the beauty of the family, didn't they? Dear, oh dear, Martha, I was forgetting you can't see from there, can you? Always jealous of me, oh dear. Well, wait till I just open the door and let you peep. But hands off, my dear, hands off.
What on earth is she about?
Opening the door of the old chest.
The skeleton.
Yes, Barbara. That is Martha, or all that's left of her.
Look, look, Martha. How do I seem to you now? Listen, this is your last look, my dear. 1 or 2 seconds only, and then I shoot you again. 1, 2, 3. Make it 1 more, Martha. 4.
Let me smash that window, Barbara. She mustn't use firearms in that room. It's full of petrol. I'll grab the gun. Got it.
No, how dare you?
I've got it. Help me, Barbara. She's as strong as an ox.
I be coming! What do you miss there? Right in Tommy Corningus!
Don't fire, you fool! Help me get her out. This place will be a furnace in a second. It's a bad show, Barbara. The poor woman died of shock and old man Cutler died of burns.
And we were lucky to get out alive. The whole of Tower House burned to the ground.
Yes, taking a grim secret with it. You see, Carol was a murderess.
I realized that when you told me the skeleton was Martha. How did you know?
I tumbled to it when I saw the leg bones. They were terribly misshapen. You remember, a horse rolled on her? As joint heiress, Carol was jealous of her, wanted the man in the case and all the money herself. She shot her twin Martha, but there was no corpus delicti, because she played both parts very skillfully, using the auto chair as Martha, walking around as Carol, for 30 years. A dual performance. Jekyll and Hyde was a child's idea compared to that.
But the skeleton of Martha.
That came very easy to Carol. When we searched her room, I noticed 2 certificates. She was a qualified doctor and surgeon. The reduction of Martha to skeleton and the expert assembly of the bones presented no difficulty at all.
She was mad, of course, poor soul.
Yes, she was mad. And apparently her last robbery, after 30 years, just turned the scale.
And no one will ever know now of her crime.
No. The skeleton will, of course, disintegrate. Rivets and such will disappear in the heat, and everyone will think poor Martha died in the flames.
But she'll be found out of her chair.
No. As a matter of fact, I just managed to incur the wrath of a fireman by sneaking into the embers and chucking most of the bones near what was left of the old chair. Barbara, do me a favor, will you?
What?
When you marry the man of your choice, bar twins in the family.
Thus, another case is brought to a successful conclusion, and Rolland Fletcher can turn his gaze elsewhere as he waits for the beckoning finger of adventure. who will surely not long delay her beloved Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
Listen, Hamilton. Today, notwithstanding a decent bloke like you, the old saw still throbs in certain places, and men like Brierly seem to take pleasure in probing the wounds and keeping them open.
Oh, but he's only one of the few. Why, everybody knows now you were sadly wrong.
Except those like Brierly.
What have you done about that?
Taught some of them a lesson. Hitherto, Brierly's got off. I haven't had time to attend to him, but his little day is coming, believe you me.
Well, that's your affair, and I suppose his. But don't do anything rash. Brierly has got influence in a good many quarters. For heaven's sake, be careful.
Hamilton, you're a good chap, and you've proved it. Well, I'm not. I'm probably a bad egg, and as such, I'm going to raise a very bad smell under the gallant Major's nose.
I really can't blame you, but...
Without dragging you into anything you wouldn't like, Hamilton, would you give me some of the blighter's background?
Well, he's very well and highly connected. Big company business. A collector of stamps, they tell me. A director of a big football syndicate. In fact, since he left the regiment, influence and money have put him well up on the top shelf.
From which it's a hell of a tumble to the ground, eh?
Now, that sounds as if you've got the wrong ideas, Fletcher. For heaven's sake, settle down and have a drink and forget the noxious Brierly.
Thanks, Hamilton. I'll have the drink, but I'll not forget the noxious Brierly. N.B.? I was not going to forget the N.B. He was one I was really out to make pay. But how? I was thinking every factor over. Then an idea struck me. He was a stamp collector and dealer, a football syndicate big shot, big company business. 3 possible avenues. Then one means came to me. Illegal, somewhat dastardly if you like, but I had to smash this man. A man who'd done his utmost to smash me. Charlie Austin was, I thought, a line of approach.
Football, Mr. Hicks. Of course I follows it. Know every player from A to Z. Now take a tip from me. Back the Spurs against Sheffield next Saturday, cert.
But there are other matches, surely.
Blimey, dozens, all first class.
Good. Now, I'm interested in a match between Morfett United and Leiden.
A great game. Morfett will win, though, with Johnny Patterson in centre forward.
You'd call him the spear point of the attack.
Of course. The best shooter from centre of any club in the league. A bloke called Brierly, Major Brierly, paid 12,000 quid to Garden County for his transfer to Morfett. Major Brierly, eh? Blimey, he's our old 2IC, ain't he?
Yes, our old 2IC. You like him, Charlie?
Like him? Oh, blimey. You should have heard the sergeant's mess singing his funeral march. He was sheer poison.
I'm glad to hear you say that. You see, I don't like him very much myself.
You don't, eh?
No, and I propose to do him a very bad turn, if I can.
Don't blame you. After all that there business.
Well, I think I know how to do it. Thanks to your information. It's been very helpful.
So you're going to, do him a bad turn, eh?
If I can.
And you ain't asked me to help.
But I have. And you have helped. That's all. The rest's up to me.
No, it ain't. Now, look here. We've been in quite a few shows together, so why not this one? See here. I can rake out a dozen of the old gang, who'd do anything to get even with old Thorny Briar.
That's what you called him, is it?
Yeah. So just say the word.
Well, what would you bet on Morfett United if this famous centre-forward, Johnny Patterson, didn't play on Saturday?
I wouldn't put a pair of dirty socks on the team.
That big, is he?
Yeah. So that's your idea, eh? To nobble him?
That was my idea. It's a bit like those socks you mentioned, not very clean.
Okay. You've had a lot of dirt chucked at you, so it's up to you to chuck a bit back. I'm in.
Thanks, Charlie. The point I've got to make sure of is that Brierly backs his own side, Morfett United.
That's easy. I can nose around and find out. Generally he does, I will say that for him.
Good. Then we've got to make him lose a packet.
That's the stuff.
And to do so, we have to abstract this Johnny Patterson from the team. Got it?
My word, yes. You know, thinking it over, I believe I'll have as much as £2 myself against Morfett.
No, don't do that. Back Morphet for as much as you can manage.
But
Never mind the buts. Do as I advise. Now, to get down to details. How do I get hold of Johnny Patterson?
Oh, that's easy. I know where to pick him up.
Yes?
Johnny, a few of your old pals would like to see you tonight.
Well, tell him it can't be done. I'm playing tomorrow and I'm going to bed early. Do I know you?
Right, Charlie.
Right, come on, Charlie. I say you can't do this.
But we can. All right, Charlie. Out to the car with him. Right. In with him. I'll hold him. You drive, Charlie.
You. Look here, what the blazes is this?
If you'll be a bit quiet, I'll explain.
Explain nothing. I've got to play football tomorrow. I know this is a stick-up racket to upset the team.
Only a temporary measure, Johnny. I give you my word it's not what you think. Now, quiet, or I'll spoil your football for tomorrow and several more Saturdays. Have you seen the newspapers, Johnny?
Blimey, yes. Screamer lines. Johnny Patterson will not play today for Morphet United. Betting changes against Morphet.
But he will play, Charlie.
But
Did I or did I not tell you to go on backing Morphet?
Crocky, so you did. But I still don't understand.
You will. Just let me get on the telephone.
Yes, who is it?
This is the Grey Goose speaking, Major.
What? Who? Look here, this place is a turmoil over the absence of Johnny Patterson. I haven't time to listen to
But,
him.
Major, you must find time. You see, I happen to have very much at heart the well-being of one Rolland Fletcher, late of your regiment.
Can't waste time talking about him. This disappearance is going to cost us thousands in gate money alone.
To revert to Rolland Fletcher, you maligned him at the club and expressed yourself abominably. I can find no excuse for you. You see, I overheard your remarks, and for that reason I have arranged for the absence of your big draw card, the aforementioned Johnny Patterson.
You scoundrel! The gate will not draw threepence without him, and we'll lose the match.
On the contrary, Morphet will win the match.
I'll lay you 6-4 we don't.
Deposit 600 with the Red Cross. They know me and will honour your bet.
By heaven, I will. And if Scotland Yard can't lay hands on you, I will.
All right. Time will tell. Tell Morphet to do their best without their star centre forward. Goodbye.
You get that, Charlie? Just what I wanted.
I just don't get it.
He laid me 6-4 against his own team because JP's not playing. What do you imagine he's doing now? Placing money all over the place with every bookmaker he can get, backing against Morphet. Now, get Johnny. We are going to see a football match.
Blimey, there ain't 500 people here.
No, that's an awful crash for the gate. Now, Johnny, you don't understand all this because you're an honest player.
I just don't understand.
I'm glad you don't. But we've treated you fairly, haven't we?
I suppose you have. But I must say I'd like a look at your faces.
That wouldn't be healthy for any of us, Johnny. But with notwithstanding a bit of inconvenience, you're going out there to play your very best game.
Oh, I always do.
Then in you go. You've got 10 minutes to change. Off you go, and good luck.
Well, thanks. Last night you tried to tell me how crooked some of the bosses were, and, well, I believe you. All right. There's no harm done. I'll play up all right. So long.
Johnny Patterson!
And there was the first arrow in the side of one Major Brierley, who had declared himself against me. He, with knowledge aforehand, backed the side opposing Morphet United, because Johnny Patterson was apparently not playing. But Johnny did play, and it cost, I've heard, the gallant Major a pretty penny. Then again, the rumour that Johnny wasn't playing wrecked the gate takings on which the Major depended so much. First score to me, Brierley, but I haven't done with you yet. Not by any means.
First score to the Grey Goose, as is just demonstrated. It would seem indeed that few can stand against the ingenuity.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
Don't be so pernickety. Now, up you go. Up.
Oh, Sir Garnet. Right. Now, lend me a hand. Right.
A lovely old place, this. The Hoax, they calls it.
No, they're real.
Eh?
The oaks, I mean. 200 or 300 years old at least.
Joke, eh?
I wouldn't dignify my facetious remark to that extent, Charlie. Move over. Now, to reconnoitre and see if we can get a surreptitious view of our unwitting host, Major Brierley.
What about breaking in and scaring the daylights out of him?
No, we'll do it more subtly than that, Charlie. You see, I've yet to find out where he can be hurt most. And the only way to do that is to watch him.
Well, what do we do now?
Jump down, of course. You ready? Now, for the house.
There's a light in that room next to the front door.
Yes, so there is. If the window's open, we'll see and hear if anything goes on. So the order is creep.
We could shin up that big oak tree. We could see in marvellously. It's so near the house.
Ooh, wonderfully convenient. Oh, what the devil was that? I got a crack on the head.
I thought I did just now.
Ooh,
I did then.
It's 2-1 so far. Ooh, what is this? Bless my soul. An arrow, Charlie.
A harrow? Blimey.
Shh. I think I know something. This is a toy arrow.
Oh, good job, too. These I've got would have gone into my skull if they'd been sharp.
Hold your horses. Do you see what I see in the big oak?
Blimey, a kid. Hey, you!
Shh, again. You up there. Who are you?
Robin Hood. So no nonsense. Or I send a shaft this time through your whiz end.
All right, Robin, we surrender. Come down, will you?
Well, if this don't beat the fun of Cork.
I'm coming down, but I've got a taut bow and the arrow is aimed.
At my weasand, or even gizzard. Whichever you prefer, Robin Hood.
Good enough. Knaves, I'm coming. Beware. On your knees, caitiffs.
Get down, Charlie. You're a caitiff.
What are you, then?
I? Oh, I'm a caitiff, too.
Seems to me our scheme's gone a bit haywire. Now we're playing cops and robbers.
Patience a moment.
Here he comes.
Stand, Charles.
Charles is the name, if you please.
In good sooth, Robin, we mean no harm. And if indeed we had evil intent, would we not have flown hence at your first warning arrow?
Oh, gosh, I wish I could talk like that. I can never remember the words.
Someday you will.
In good sooth, you didn't do so badly.
Didn't I really?
My good Richard, His Majesty, you bespoke passing well. You shut up, Charlie.
Say some more.
Later. Firstly, you tell me why you were hidden up in that big oak.
I was lurking.
Lurking? Yes, come to think of it, it looked a bit like that.
Reconnoitring, as it were.
You see, at a moment that was
Propitious?
That's it. I was going to loose my shaft and slay him.
Him?
Major Brierley. He's more deadly than the Sheriff of Nottingham.
As a matter of fact, Robin, we don't like that gentleman very much either. That's why we came along tonight.
Then we join forces, invade the castle, and put the whole lot to the sword?
Blimey, out of the mouths of babes and ducklings.
Yes, a great idea. By the way, is your name really Robin Hood?
No, it's Robin, all right. But actually it's Driscoll.
Robin Driscoll. Jolly fine name, too.
Not as good as Robin Hood, though.
Personally, I think it's better. What do you think, Charlie?
Oh, that's right. There used to be a city of Driscoll.
That's Bristol, you idiot.
Oh.
Of course, city of Driscoll. Famous place. Now, excuse me, Robin, just a minute.
Certainly. I'll go and keep watch.
Good. Catch up with you in a minute.
And it looks, Charlie, as if our plans have got to be sidestepped for now. This little chap's a bit in the way.
But he's got it in for the Major for something.
Obviously. And maybe we can find out what the gallant Major has done to stir a kiddie to the point of hiding in trees ready to shoot arrows into him.
I wonder who he is.
We'll find that out easily. And somehow I've an idea at the back of my mind that there will be a hint to guide us. That kiddy's not got murder on his mind for no reason at all. All right, let's join Robin.
Are ye there, Robin?
Aye, keeping watch.
Well, little John and myself have decided that the moment is not
Propitious.
Thank you. So we think we'd better form a plan of campaign somewhere else. And then maybe we could arrange to join forces and rush the citadel.
And slay Major Briley?
What about hanging him?
That would be real justice.
Well, we'll see. Now, what about us all getting out of here for the time being?
We'll go to my mother's cottage. I shall present you to her.
Maybe that would be best. Now, just one thing before we go. I'm writing a little note, just telling the Major to beware. How's that?
Fine. Shall I take it?
No, we have a much more romantic way of doing things than that. Lend me your bow.
With pleasure. I feel that I can trust you. You're putting an extra feather.
Yes, a grey goose feather, Robin. Just like the bowmen of England used many years ago. Now, ready? This is going, I hope, right through the window. Watch, and when I loose the bow, run.
Can't we stay to see the result?
By Jove, no. Now, get ready. Off she goes. Run, Robin, run! Wait!
Oh, blimey. See that car, Mr. Hicks? Police.
You sudden?
Yeah, look. It stops outside the front steps.
My hat! And it's our old friend Inspector Benford himself. Now, why? What's Ben doing down here? Look, Robin, you head off home. There's something just happened. We'll have to stay here and look into it.
Can't I stay too?
No, you can trust us to look after the secrets of Robin Hood. Now, look, we'll report to you in 10 minutes' time. Where do you live?
The gamekeeper's cottage, down the side lane, half a mile.
Good.
You'll report this night?
Yes, this very night. Now, off with you.
What a queer little cat.
My word, yes. Been badly hurt at some time, too. Well, what do you make of Ben Ford's arrival?
I can't make nothing of it.
Neither can I, yet. Of course, Ben would know Briley, or vice versa. They both belong to my club.
So what's the programme?
We both get up into Robin's tree and see and hear what we can. Here's a bag. Now, up you go.
Right.
Good. Give me a hand.
This is what I calls a grandstand seat. See the whites of their eyes from here.
Listen.
Yes, as a matter of fact, I was not on duty when your information came through.
You mean about the abduction of Johnny Patterson?
No, that didn't concern me very much. It was the information that the Grey Goose was at the bottom of it. I may as well tell you that I'm specially assigned to track that gentleman down.
But you haven't so far.
I haven't. But every appearance or exploit of his naturally engages my very earnest attention. Hence my late call tonight. Now then, you say he rang you up?
Yes, twice. He even had the effrontery to lay me 6-4 that my own team, Morford United, would win the match on Saturday last.
How did he lay the odds?
He was to send £400 to the Red Cross, and I was to send 600. I thought the team couldn't win without our star centre forward, and I laid out all the money I could.
Against?
Of course. And when it was too late, Johnny Patterson took the field, Morford won, and I came a terrible cropper.
A real Grey Goose twist, that.
Oh, incidentally, look at this.
An arrow. Just a toy arrow?
Yes, but all the same, it carries a message. Look, do you see? It reads, I am here. Signed, the Grey Goose.
Just a moment. When did you get this?
1 minute before you arrived. It was fired through the window.
Heavens. Only a few minutes ago. Why, man, this toy arrow and feather, who does it belong to?
I don't know.
Oh, come, think, man, think.
This is rather a nasty moment for Rolland Fletcher up in his tree. Only a child would have such a toy. Does a complete exposure through little Robin threaten the Grey Goose?
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
I, as you know, was gunning for Major Brierly, a wealthy member of my own club. So wealthy, indeed, that he even owned a big football club. I staged a bit of a coup in that direction. Cost him a pretty penny, too. Not quite satisfied, however, I took Charlie Austin down with me to Brierly's country place, where Charlie and I endeavoured to see where we could next kick him in the pants. Suddenly we both received a toy arrow where it hurts most, and discovered a 9-year-old who called himself Robin Hood. He was absolutely steeped in the story of Sherwood, and I must say his old English was pretty good. A queer little cuss, Charlie called him. Apparently, he had some real grudge against the Major. I borrowed one of his toy arrows and fired it through the window. To our great surprise, Inspector Ford himself turned up. So we packed the gallant Robin off, and Charlie and I climbed his tree overlooking the study.
Think, man, think. Who round these parts would have a toy bow and arrow?
Well, give me time.
You see, attached to it is not only the note you mentioned, reading, "I am here," but there's an additional feather. A grey goose feather.
Oh, some kid did it, I expect.
I'm sorry, that bird can't fly. It'll take a grown man to pull that bow back far enough to send a blunt arrow through your glass window. Now, there's only one explanation. The grey goose, as he says on the note, is here.
Yes, I see that. Well, if he's that close, we can get him, surely. I'm just waiting to lay my hands on that joker. He's cost me thousands.
You're no more anxious than I am. Now, this is how I see it. It doesn't ordinarily go round with a boy's bow and arrow. Thus, when he came visiting you...
Visiting?
A bad word to use, but it'll suffice. You see, as I read it, he's doing a follow-up.
You mean there's more to come?
That's exactly what I do mean. He's still after you, and that means trouble, because, my dear sir, he's looking for more fresh fields and pastures new. You. Now then, being down here, he sends you a message.
By a kid's arrow?
My dear sir, that's exactly where we started. What kiddies round here have you seen playing with a bow and arrow?
Well, I suppose there's a good many.
Oh, will you try and be a bit more specific? My idea down it, I've just said it, is he didn't arm himself with a toy. The toy came his way, and he took this dramatic way of announcing himself. Quite a character, as a matter of fact.
Yes, I see. So you want to round up all the kids in the nearby village and see which one has lost a bow and arrow, eh?
Well, it might be worth it.
All right, I'll get my agent off. I'll get him after it after school in the morning and find out. It'll be a big job, mind you.
Yes, I know that. But if it'll bring the Grey Goose in, that's all I want.
Well, it's very late. It's after midnight. I can put you up if you'd like.
No, thanks. It's only 25 miles back to town. I've got a little job to see to in this connection. I'll be along during the morning. Oh, just before I go, I'm going to have a stroll around here. I may pick up something.
Well, have a drink before you go.
Under the circumstances, no. I think I'd better get back. Pity I hadn't a few men with me. I'd have combed the whole neighbourhood. Found it the scent's as cold as a stone now.
What do you intend to do if you find a boy who's lost a bow or sold a bow and arrow?
Given away, lost, or stolen, or bought, I'll grill each one. Oh, well, till tomorrow, then. Good night.
Good night.
Oh, crikey. That's torn it, Mr. Hicks.
It has a bit. It'll bring him eventually to our little Robin Hood. And willy-nilly, he'll let the cat out of the bag. We'll hop down from this tree. We've got to find an idea.
Okay. Where now?
Well, our friend Robin Hood mustn't be allowed to talk.
How can we stop him?
I think I know how. It'll have to be done now.
But it's after midnight. What about his folks?
We'll chance them. Come on. Only half a mile down the lane, he said. The gamekeeper's cottage. Get walking, Friar Tuck. Or are you Little John?
No, just blinking tired.
Oh, this is it. Someone's still up, apparently.
Who is that?
Genuinely a friend, Mrs. Driscoll. I do realize it's terribly late, but I did promise Master Robin Hood that I'd report to him.
Oh, Mother, you must open. It's a important message.
Hush, Robin, that's nonsense. I'm afraid
I assure you, Mrs. Driscoll, it's quite important, as that little stalwart of yours says.
Little stalwart, indeed. Such romantic nonsense. All right, but I really can't see what a call at this hour can mean. A masked man?
Yes, for which I'm very sorry. I'm only wearing it to protect you. It may be to your advantage not to be able to recognize me. I'm not coming in. You see, I'll just stand in the shadows and talk.
That's his visor he's got down, Mother.
That's it, Robin Hood.
just as King Richard was visored when he first returned from the Crusades.
Then you must be my liege.
That's it, Robin. Now, I have a favour to ask. Will you give me your bow and all your arrows?
But, my lord...
Listen, old son. You and I won't play for a little while. There's a very good reason for what I asked, Mrs. Driscoll. Quite inadvertently, I may have placed your little chap in a spot. I was careless, I think, now.
What's he been doing now? Shooting the Major? The Sheriff of Nottingham, as he calls him?
He's apparently very much disliked.
He is that. Stuck-up, hard-hearted, a merciless beast of a man.
I'd like to hear more of this in a moment. Can you persuade Robin to let me have what I want?
It's all right. You can have them.
I'm going to burn them, Robin.
Oh, no. Not my trusty bow.
Yes, every vestige. But listen. When I get back to London town, I'm going to order one of the greatest bowmen to make you a bow twice as long and arrows to fit. How's that?
Fine. Then I can really send a shaft through the caitiff's heart.
Yes, indeed. Now, thank you, and good night.
Off you go, Robin, to bed. School in the morning.
I bid you good night, Lady Mother.
A quaint little soul, that boy of yours.
Quaint? I really don't know what to do with him. This Robin Hood nonsense will have to be knocked out of him.
If I may say so, that would be a pity.
But it's dangerous. One day he and his friends, the men of Sherwood, as he calls them, will do some damage. There's 20 of them. You see, he's determined to kill the Major.
He seems to have a great hate for that gentleman.
Haven't we all in these parts?
Well, this is interesting. You see, I have a little score to settle myself. Can you tell me about this feud?
As far as this family is concerned, yes. You see, I'm a widow. Husband's been dead a few years now. Oh, I've got over the worst now. But it's Dad. Gamekeeper for nearly 40 years.
Is he around now?
No, he's bedridden in the back room there. 6 months now.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
So Brearley has appointed a new keeper and insists on us moving on. But we can't. The doctor wouldn't allow Dad to be moved. So it's a sort of fight till Dad's better or dies.
And what of Robin?
Oh, he's heard us talking, I'm afraid. And then again, recently he got wandering round the estate's private park and the Major took a hunting crop to him.
Scott, he's lower than I thought. Well, something may be done about all this.
You've got a grudge, too.
My word, I have. You see, there's a long-standing difference of opinion between Major Brierley and myself. That's my main reason for appearing in these parts.
Oh, you won't do anything more to bring trouble on me and mine.
On the contrary, I may achieve the opposite. How long does the Major give you to get your father out?
About 3 weeks more. But even if Dad's well enough, we have nowhere to go. Dad's only 60, but I doubt he'll be able to get another job as gamekeeper even when he's better.
Well, when he is a bit better, maybe I can help there. In the meantime, keep up your pecker, and I hope you'll trust me a little.
I find myself doing so. Although you have that mask on, you sound friendly.
One last thing. If anybody, mind you, asks young Robin if he possesses a bow and arrow, let him be quite truthful and say, a man took them away. Just that and no more.
A man took them away.
That's most important, except that he never saw the man's face because he was masked. Got that?
Yes. You can trust Robin to do exactly as he's told.
Good. And now I'll be leaving you. And thank you for not screaming the place down when I first arrived. Good night. You'll be hearing from me again.
Good night.
You still there, Charlie?
Yes, Mr. Hicks.
Right. Now listen. Tomorrow morning early, you'll get around the village and buy up all the bows and arrows from every kid who's got one.
Aye?
There'll be at least 20, maybe a few more. House-to-house calls if necessary. Don't miss a single one. Give each kid £1 or even more.
Oh, blimey. I can only rustle up a bit of loose silver.
Oh, confound it, so can I. But I've got to have the money before daybreak.
Well, banks don't open until 10.
Ah, that's right. Make it all easy.
Of course. I reckon we could borrow 20 or 30 of the best.
For heaven's sake, man. At this time of night? 12:55 a.m.?
Reckon this, Major bloke could oblige.
What the... Oh, for crying out loud, Charlie. Your brain is definitely working. Yes, certainly the Major will pay.
What's the idea? Why buy up all the bows and arrows?
Let me remind you that I fired a child's arrow through Brierley's window. And we heard the good inspector say he was going to track down the boy who owned the bow and arrow.
Yeah, I begin to see.
I'm glad of that, because it would lead him to Robin. So now, If every bowman in this neighbourhood says a kind gentleman bought his bow and arrows from him, it can't possibly point to Robin any more than any other boy, see?
Crocky. That reminds me of Ali Barber, where the robbers chalk-marked a door and the girl runs after them and puts a mark on all the doors.
Yes, Scheherazade told me herself. However, we haven't time to discuss the Arabian Nights. We've got to finance the arrow purchases, and to achieve that, we do a little spot of burglary on the gallant Major's premises. Up guards and at 'em. How did you get on with the wall safe, Charlie?
Not much money there, but I helped myself to all of his papers just on chance.
That's always good. Financially, I did quite well. I sneaked up to his bedroom. There he was, snoring like a pig. So I lifted his wallet off the bedside table. It contains quite a stack of notes. Then, to keep the party clean, I stuck one of my feathers just where his moustache ought to be. Nearly woke the blight out.
Oh, blimey, you do take risks.
The spice of life, as you well know, Charlie. Now, for somewhere to lay our heads ready for the morn when you go chasing arrows.
Wait on. Look. Standing in the front drive.
Holy Moses, the inspector himself. Bless the wily old bird. He didn't go off to town after all.
No, he's doing a proud on his own. They're coming over our way now.
Quick, up into the old oak tree, Charlie. Ooh, just in time. Not a second to spare.
With the inspector in the vicinity and highly suspicious, there'll be some anxious moments for the Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
Major Brierley, who insulted me, has already suffered severe losses over his football team, the said losses being engineered by me. This coup, however, is not enough, and so, enlisting the aid of Charlie Austin, I visit Brierley's big country home, and there stage another act to further defeat the gallant Major. In cornering the market in bows and arrows, as you heard, Charlie and I suddenly realize Inspector Ford is hot on the trail. Hence, like good King Charles himself, we take refuge in an oak tree.
The inspector's there, all right.
Hot on the scent. Look, Charlie, we've got to get away and start your bow and arrow hunt before long. Dash it all, it'll be daylight in an hour or two. And here we are, up a tree, in more ways than one. Oh, for something to divert his attention.
Help! Police! Burglars! The police!
Evan is on our side. Listen to that.
What's going on here?
Oh, is that you, Inspector Ford? Look, that confounded Grey Goose. Charlie's been here. I saw him.
Shin down the tree and make for Mrs. Driscoll's cottage. I'll join you there. We'll then be able to beg a bed or shakedown of some sort. We're terribly obliged to you, Mrs. Driscoll, for a good sleep and feed, but we've got to move quickly. By the way, don't leave your cottage under any circumstances.
How do you mean?
I mean that there's no power in the world that would permit the Major to evict you.
How can that be?
Well, certain papers came into my hands. I won't tell you how. Eh, Charlie?
Better not be too, explicit.
That's the word, Charlie. At any rate, Mrs. Driscoll, your dad is still alive.
Why, of course. But he's not well, as you know.
Well, that makes no difference. I have a document here, signed by the previous owner of this property. Your father's name is Bland.
Yes, Arthur Bland. I was Jessica Bland.
The previous owner let this property, the cottage, to your father for a peppercorn rent.
A peppercorn rent? What does that mean?
I'll explain in one moment. The document grants life possession of this cottage to one Arthur Bland for a peppercorn rent of 1 shilling per annum.
But I've paid the Major £1 a week for 5 years.
Ooh, that's quite a lot of money. God bless my soul, we must get that back. Listen, I have that document, and I propose to lodge it with a reputable lawyer. Now, just to explain. It was the custom many years ago for a landowner to grant property to a trusty servant without actually handing over his interest in it. so he would charge him 1 peppercorn per year. Today the token payment is rated at 1 shilling. So as you've been paying £1 per week since the Major took over, you're entitled to stay here for about, 5,000 years more.
Oh, it's impossible.
It's the jolly old law and holds in any court in England.
And the Major tried to evict us.
And suppress the document. Mrs. Driscoll, if you wish, you have a very strong and profitable suit against your present landlord. But I'll see you about that later. In the meantime, I've got other things to do, so I'll leave you and take the word of your masked stranger that the law will definitely protect you.
I wish I could know who you are. I can't really thank you enough.
Oh, thank me later. And if you happen to hear someone slanging a somewhat no-good blighter called the Grey Goose...
The Grey Goose? You?
At your service. Au revoir. See you sometime.
I don't believe what people say about the Grey Goose.
What do they say?
That he's a thief, an outlaw, a bandit.
Shall I tell you something very confidentially?
Yes, please.
Well, he is. Are you there, Charlie?
Yes, Mr. X. Oh, blimey, what a morning I've had. I bought 25 bows and about 150 arrows. And carrying them around, I began to think the old village thought I was a blooming porcupine.
Where have you stowed them?
Just down the lane, about 100 yards from here. Do you know, some of them kids was hard to persuade. But a few quid here and there did the trick. Crikey, some of them were grandsons of old Shylock. But I don't reckon there's a bow and arrow left in the village.
And so, Robin Hood and his Sherwood foresters are no more. Charlie, remind me when we get back to rearm the noble Robin and his men. Well, now, what's the next news?
This'll give you a laugh. Inspector Ford has arranged with the headmaster of the school to parade every kid in the main hall at 11 o'clock, and he's going to question them.
Oh, this we must see. Can we get near to a window?
Easy. I've already cased the joint. We can see and hear, too.
Good. At the 11th hour of this day, Charlie, we shall attend school. But before that, we light a bonfire under our bows and arrows. Come on, Friar Tuck.
Not much cover, Mr. Hex. But as they ain't facing the window, we won't be spotted. There's the master. Cool, cushy job. Only about 40 kids to look after.
Quiet. There's Inspector Ben. Jiminy, he's looking fierce. Listen.
Boys, quiet. Quiet, boys. This gentleman is Inspector Ford of Scotland Yard. He wishes to ask you a question or two.
I propose to ask my questions of each of you in turn. And in case you're worried because I'm a policeman, I must tell you that no possible harm can come to you, nor do I wish to embarrass you in any way. Now, just answer my questions truthfully. Now then, I'll ask the first boy. What's your name, Sonny?
Tom Haggerty, sir.
Thank you. Have you a bow and arrow?
No, sir, never had one.
Never?
No, sir.
Next boy. Have you a bow and arrow?
No, sir, not now.
What happened to it?
Sold it for £1 this morning to a gentleman in the village.
You didn't sell it yesterday?
No, sir, this morning.
This morning? You certain?
Yes, sir, this morning.
Next boy. Have you a bow and arrow?
No, sir, just sold it.
This morning?
Yes, sir.
Hey, wait a minute. Now, look, Mr. Heaslip, there's 40 odd of your boys. You start the other end of the line, will you?
Yes, certainly.
I begin to smell a rat somewhere.
Robin Driscoll, have you a bow and arrow?
No, sir, sold it to a gentleman.
Now, have you a bow and arrow, boy?
No, sir, never had one.
Oh, and what about you? Have you a bow and arrow? Have you a bow and arrow? What's happened? It's bow and arrow. Have you a bow and arrow? Have you sold a bow and arrow?
All right. 40 boys or more, and not one single one of them has a bow and arrow.
Apparently, Inspector, they've all made a profitable deal.
Profitable deal. Heaven, I've been tricked. Well, never mind. Dismiss the boys.
All right, boys, you're dismissed for 5 minutes.
Come on, Charlie, unless you'd like to stay and have a game of hopscotch with Ben Ford.
Not me. But blimey, he's near bursting with rage.
I shall always treasure that picture, Charlie. The frustration of Scotland Yard.
Dear. Hey, where do we go now, Mr. Higgs?
Back to town, Charlie.
But we ain't fixed on man Briley yet.
Haven't we? Just you wait, laddie. You must remember we bust up his football bets, ruined his gate at last Saturday's match, helped ourselves to his private papers, cost him 25 or 30 pounds for bows and arrows, and just another item or two to come, about which you'll hear in due course.
Riley here. Who is that?
Just your friend the enemy, Major.
I don't understand.
Then let me enlighten you, my dear sir. Recently you laid me 64 in hundreds that your team, Morphet United, would be the losers last Saturday. They won. So far the Red Cross have not received your 600.
I was hoodwinked.
The Red Cross seem to think that they have been also. In fact, so annoyed are they that they've notified most of the clubs to which you belong.
But I took a dreadful caning both in the shocking gate receipt and in my other bet.
Excellent. However, clubs look very askance at debts of honour left unpaid. I happened to stroll into one of which we are both members, only this morning. Your name figured largely on the notice board. You are what is commonly known as posted.
How dare they post me?
They aren't clubs, Pernickety. By the way, friend Brierley, all your troubles arose from the fact that you expressed yourself rather too freely concerning one Rolland Fletcher. He being unable to retaliate, I took up the cudgels on his behalf. There's a very old and somewhat trite saying that you should bear in mind. It goes, in the vernacular, keep your trap shut.
Oh, who are you? Confound it, man. If you're a fellow club member, come out in the open and say what you've got to say.
I am not a fellow club member now. Don't you remember? I just told you. You've been posted. Au revoir, my dear ex-member. Oh, just before we part, do you remember an old and very melodious song, the lines of which ran, I shot an arrow into the air, it fell to earth, I know not where.
Then you are...
The Grey Goose. Yes, Major, but not at your service.
So much for the Major, Charlie.
And he really is bumped out of his clubs?
Most definitely. The secretaries have all been notified through the Red Cross.
So he's a real dead-un now?
Socially, yes.
And we've done with him for good and all, eh?
Not quite. You see, he's still a very big country gentleman, save the mark, on that estate of his, some miles out of Watford.
Big noise?
Well, yes. Except that a little editorial in the local rag won't help him much. Here, I'll read it. Now listen. For some months, the village of Hadley Minor, near Watford, has been amused by the daring do of a band of little local lads calling themselves Sherwood Foresters, led by one Robin Driscoll, otherwise Robin Hood. Strangely enough, they were never a menace or a nuisance. In fact, they seemed imbued with the spirit of other times. It thus struck us as a great pity that by some means the boys were bribed to sell out their bows and arrows to a stranger. It seems curious, moreover, that the remains of a bonfire revealed the fact that bows and arrows had been deliberately destroyed therein. The destruction occurred within the grounds of Major Brierley's estate, a fact which we feel will not endear him to local residents, who, one and all, had a very soft spot for our little Robin Hood and his merry men.
Oh, blimey, eh? That'll put his pot on.
Somehow, Charlie, I think he'll be about as popular as the original Sheriff of Nottingham was in his day. Well, drink up, old scout. We didn't make many pennies out of this deal, but we had a lot of fun.
Okay. And let's drink to that queer little cuss, Robin Driscoll.
Alias Robin Hood. Cheers.
And on a happy note, this adventure ends. But still, Dame Fortune beckons round the corner for the Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose. Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
Life presents a dreary picture. Some few people seem to like me, but I find, on the other hand, the press screaming to hang the Grey Goose by the neck. As you, my kind friends, well know, there have been many occasions on which I've acted without bringing any pennies to the old coffers at all. So thinking, a bright morning found me strolling down that thoroughfare of sugar daddies and their hunters, Bond Street, when...
Stop thief! Help me! Stop thief!
I did. I stopped thief. I tripped the poor blighter up, all neat and proper. Soccer's my game, you know.
Come on, you. Come on, hand over. Crot, so you thought you could get away with this smash and grab, eh? In Bond Street. That was a pretty bit of tackling you did, sir. Must have played for Carlton United.
Oh, nothing to it, Constable. Apparently, you, like the Mounties, have got your man.
Thanks to you, sir. Come on, you. I shall report this, sir. Just for evidence, name, please, sir?
Rolland Fletcher.
R-O-L-A-N-D-F-L-E-T-C-H-E-R. Address, if you please?
7 Park Mansions.
7 Park Mansions. That'd be German Street, eh?
It would.
Hey, come back, you! Hey, stop it! Stop, he's got away! Hey, stop! Stop me! Stop! Stop it!
Well, what do you know about that? A gentleman of opportunity. Sorry for PC 99, though. Let his tiger go. There, Barbara?
Yes?
Shift the old folding bookcase and come in.
Right.
Right, good girl. Now listen, I was at a smash and grab this morning.
Rolly, you hadn't surely...
Smashed and grabbed? No, my dear, but I was low enough to help myself in the confusion. Have a look at this.
What a beauty.
20-odd carat of the best in diamonds.
How did you get it?
Just picked it up, my dear. The point is, most of the loot was discovered quickly and returned. All, I think, except this little gem.
Which you picked up.
That's the exact wording. Picked up. You know, I was even complimented by the policeman on duty for my promptitude in helping arrest the thief.
Mm-hmm. So much to the good.
Unfortunately, the thief got away while the police and I were discussing matters. While, in fact, I was beaming in the sun of his approbation.
So now what?
You are very dirty.
What?
You require a bath.
How dare you?
That being so, you will immediately take a bath.
Rolland Fletcher, if this is a soap ad, I'm not amused.
All right. Let's be serious for a moment. Take your bath, but under the water plug, you'll place this little diamond.
Oh, I begin to see.
I'm glad you do, because this is going to prove a little sticky.
Why?
Well, the thief was one Bernie Casson.
Who's he?
Bernie Casson's an old friend of mine from Wormwood Scrubs, just out on tick of leave. He saw me, and I'm certain recognized me.
Well, that proves nothing. He's not a credible witness.
No, but he lost most of his loot through me. He may not feel friendly disposed towards me. He knows my address. Ergo, he may call. Therefore, to put it more forcibly, the diamond must rest for safety beneath the waves of your bath. As soapy as possible, please.
But do you suppose I'm going to lie in a bath while you're thugged?
Only a very extreme measure.
There are extremes to which even I will not go.
I like that even touch. A caller. The warning buzzer. Barbara, vamoose. Get clean. Pronto. Bath. For 2 pins, Bernie himself.
Hello, Fletcher.
Come in, but... Well, if it isn't Inspector Benford himself.
Who are you expecting? Dr. Jekyll or Mr. Hyde?
I'll pass that one up, because as a matter of fact, I can't think of a suitable answer. But do come in. Drink or no drink?
No drink, thanks.
Take soda with it?
No soda, Now listen, I'm on a job.
No drinks.
That's so. Now listen, Fletcher. I haven't come round to exchange banalities. I'm very much exercised in my mind.
Go on.
Today, a police constable reported a smash-and-grab raid at a jeweller's shop in Bond Street.
Good gracious.
You were there.
Excuse me, Ben. Was I the jeweller or the smash-and-grab brick thrower?
You were there. In fact, you were the bloke who tripped up the thief.
Wasn't I just noble?
He spilled a few £1,000s worth of diamonds in the gutter.
The lout. I said lout.
Every one of which, according to the jeweller, was recovered, except...
You can't have every one and except.
I mean all but one.
Much better, Ben. Remember alma mater, your old school.
Oh, for heaven's sake, shut up. That one was a recently cut diamond of roughly 20 carats. A very valuable jewel.
That is still missing, I suppose.
Yes. And so is the blighter who chucked the brick.
But I'm still here, so I chucked the brick and have got the diamond. Would you like to search my flat?
I didn't say so.
Somehow I thought you inferred all that. And so, on behalf of aforesaid alma mater, I am deeply hurt. Please, Ben, examine the turn-ups of my pants, and while you're at it, have a look at the stoppings in my wisdom teeth.
Now stop bragging, Fletcher. I am, as you know, a deeply suspicious cove.
You definitely are. Everything you do, Ben, is open to suspicion.
No, stop it. Everything that happens lately gets tied to a character called, for want of a better name, the Grey Goose.
Was he flying round Bond Street this morning?
Not that I'm aware of. But you were.
Oh.
And on dozens of other occasions when the Grey Goose has manifested himself, you had been or were in the vicinity.
So you think maybe I know this Grey Goose and waddle around in his gaggle, so to speak?
I do not assert it, and maybe I'm wide of the mark. But I'm asking you as an ordinary citizen to tell me what you know of our friend.
Weren't we talking of a smash and grab in Bond Street?
All right. You were there. You even tripped up the culprit, for which my thanks. You went so far as to hold him while the police constable was making notes.
All of which shows I'm a stout citizen, on the side of law and order.
But at the crucial moment, you let the fellow go.
What?
The constable is positive about that.
What's his number?
Number 723.
I'll ring him up.
That's his constabulary number. Now, did you let the man go?
Certainly not. He just got away.
Did you recognize him?
Ben, I know a lot of nice people, even police inspectors, but I did not recognize him. Should I have done?
All right. But look here, Fletcher. Old acquaintance, social and other obligations will not deter me from exercising my rights as a police officer or from doing my duty.
All of which means?
That if you are mixed up in any funny business, you'll be for it. Good night.
Drink, Ben?
No. Oh. And here's a little present from my collection. Put it in your buttonhole. Or your hat.
A feather?
A Grey Goose feather, my friend. No.
My hat. What's Ben on to? Coals to Newcastle, bones to a banquet, feathers to me. Must pull my socks up. Barbara?
Yes, Rolly?
You heard?
Yes, every word. Had the speaker on.
Well, you'd better finish that bath and come in.
Didn't have the bath, but the jewel is where you suggested.
Well, your friend Inspector Ben is very hot on the trail of the Grey Goose.
Apparently so. Even gave me this feather. One of my own, too. As you know, I always clip the quill at the end. Barbara, Ben is going to get this one back, somehow, and a pillowcase full of them. But how?
Don't tempt fate too much, Rolly.
There goes the warning buzzer again. Nick off and put on your speaker again. This is it, or I'm much mistaken. Yes?
Mr. Fletcher, I believe.
You believe right. I'm Mr. Fletcher.
Good. I was hoping to find you in.
Your hopes are realized. Well, what can I do for you?
You can let me in.
Why?
Come off it, you know why.
Do I?
Yes, you do. Now, look, Cully. I'm referring to a little to do in Bond Street today.
Ah, yes, Bond Street. In that case, do come in and welcome. Now, take a seat. Take a big one. You can't then run off with it.
Very funny, ain't you?
My most intimate friends say no. No, the trouble with me is that I laugh too much at my own corny jokes.
Righto. Have your laugh, and when you've done, we'll talk turkey.
What's that? Turkey? Oh, what a relief.
Today, you saved my bacon.
How very stupid of me. Now, you chucked that brick into that window.
And you nabbed me with a very neat trip-up. Yes, very neat, I must say.
Come on. No compliments.
And while the cop was arguing the point, you let me go.
Silly, wasn't it?
But I heard you give your name and address.
Still sillier.
That's why I'm here.
You're here because I gave my name and address to a policeman?
No. Because when I spill the takings in the gutter, I see you pounce on one of the rocks.
I pounced on one of the rocks? Oh, dear. Did I bash my brains out?
Don't be frolicsome, Mr. Clever Dick. You nabbed the prime jewel of the lot, see?
I did?
You did. And then you let me go. So I says, well now, here's a gent who's in the game too, I says. And do you know what? You recognise me.
Recognised you?
Yes.
I did?
Yeah. But you didn't give my name to the police.
Oh, really?
Now why, I says.
Why?
And I answers, because you'd seen a good thing and was onto it.
Oh, really? Now, you've worked that out very well. Now, tell me, what is your name?
As if you didn't know. Bernie Casson. Now, mister, all I want's the sparkler. No questions, no answers. I knows who you are and where you live. And I knows you've got what I want. How about it?
And thus, with Inspector Ford on the trail and highly suspicious, and a smash-and-grab thief wholly aware of his identity, danger of exposure once more threatens the Grey Goose.
I have been here.
The Grey Goose, Adventures of a Modern Robin Hood.
Witnessing a smash-and-grab raid in Bond Street, I managed a little grab myself. It was a fine diamond, about 20 carats, and I gave it to Barbara to hide. Subsequently, I had a bad few moments with Inspector Ben, and almost on top of his call came Bernie Casson, the real smash-and-grab artist. He was one of those who got away, and apparently he'd seen my little bit of salvage and called to collect.
So what, Cully? I lost most of the rocks in the gutter, but you salvaged a big un. Now, I'm a reasonable cove. Hand over the prime rock and no hard feelings.
The prime rock, my friend, is in safe storage.
What?
As I said, safely stored away.
Listen, I ain't to be played with, see?
Yes, I see. I also see that you're pointing a gun.
Yeah, that's right. So I am. And that gun barks. Unless you show me or tell me where that rock is.
Let the gun bark, as you call it. What good will it do you? Laddie, one word from me and the whole of the Metropolitan Police Force will bang your face in the gutter where it belongs.
Before you say that word, you'll have had it. Here, what's that?
Callers at my flat, Bernie Casson. They're in the passage outside. They can overhear you. Hold your horses a moment. As I said, Bernie, callers. Do you still want to shoot? Excuse me. Come in. Barbara, you heard?
Of course. You drop that gun.
Huh?
Good film stuff.
Here. Oh, I didn't mean anything. Straight I didn't. Here, let's talk about this.
Get a move on. This gun's hair-trigger action and I'm trembling.
All right, I'm off. Forget it, see? Blimey. To think I've been held up by a dame with a pop gun.
You see, Bunny, you haven't hope. Now hop it. And if you feel like paying me another call, do so. But don't bring that gun. Now out. Out.
All right. Righto, I'm going.
So you were listening in?
Of course.
Well, you arrived in the nick of time. That bloke, Bernie Casson, was prepared to be dangerous.
Yes. As soon as I heard he was likely to prove difficult, I left my place and came round by your front door.
Quick thinking, Barbara.
How did he know where you lived?
That was a piece of confounded carelessness on my part. During the little fracas in Bond Street, I gave my name and address to the policeman who arrested him. And he, Bernie, apparently overheard.
He couldn't connect you with the Grey Goose, though.
Oh, no. No, that's certain. To the policeman, I was but a casual passer-by who intervened on the side of law and order. To Casson, I was a bit of a smart guy, out to profit by his little misfortune when he dropped the loot.
He must have had pretty smart eyes. You know something, Rowley?
Go on. I may or I may not.
You haven't heard the last of that thug.
I agree with you. However, I see a light shining in the sky.
Oh, that's comforting.
Good. In fact, I see two lights. One, he doesn't know for certain that I have the jewel. And two, even if he could make certain, he couldn't pass on his knowledge to the police, because they want him badly for that smash and grab. No, he's got to keep well under cover.
Even so, he's going to have a real crack at you when the opportunity comes his way. That diamond would keep him in luxury for years.
True, but I've got other ideas. That diamond is going to be my old age pension. Oh, where is it now, by the way?
Still in the waist under the plug of my bath.
My hat. It couldn't slip down, could it?
No. The hole's too small and the stone is too big.
Thank heaven for that. I'd hate to present it to the Metropolitan Water Board.
It's perfectly safe where it is.
Well, things being what they are, I'd be glad if you'd keep your speaker on in your room for the next day or two. Because if Master Bernie Casson calls again, you'll know that it's time to repeat the performance you gave tonight.
Oh, all right. Although I wasn't expecting to stay in all day for a week or more.
There's no need to. Gentlemen like Bernie work by night. In fact, I don't think he'd dare show his ugly mug in daytime. He's too well known to every policeman in the force.
In any case, I'll be in all tonight.
Okay. You'll be able to do a watch and pray act. As for myself, I have to see a man about a billiard ball at the club.
I'll go through the bookcase. Save that journey down and round to my own flat.
All right. Madam, the gates are open.
See you tomorrow sometime. Good night.
Good night. Well, now, I'll put my speaker on. Set the mic amplifier so. Oh, just won a few bob, I think. Franklin mostly beats me at snooker. I'd better be prepared.
Rolly, you still there?
Yes. What's the panic?
Come in quickly. I've released the catch. Open on your side.
Coming. What the devil's happened? Now, what's all the fuss about?
The diamond. It's gone.
Great Scott! Then it...
No, it couldn't slip down the waist.
But...
Come into the bathroom and see for yourself.
All right. But if it wasn't there when you looked, it won't just bob up to oblige me.
Oh, for heaven's sake, don't be facetious. Look, there's the rubber plug, hanging up, not in the waist. No water in the bath. I didn't hang up the plug. I stupidly, I suppose, left the water in the bath.
Oh, I begin to see. You've been robbed.
Of course I have. And I know who's got the diamond.
You do? Then set my mind at rest.
Marion has it.
Marion?
One of the service staff. Always does my flat out. She's been in while I was in your place. Tidied up, hung up my towels, pulled the plug out, let out the water, wiped down the bath, and seen the diamond.
And lifted it. Candidly, I think my idea of a hiding place stinks.
But it's largely my fault. I should have tidied the bathroom myself.
And have the fair Marion wondering? Well, we've got to get it back.
How?
Send for Marion and ask her.
But she'll wonder why. If I've lost a stone like that, I haven't set up a hullabaloo long before this.
Now, wait just a second. I'm having a little glimmer of intelligence. Now, listen. That diamond is the centerpiece of a necklace you have.
One I have?
Mm-hmm.
With diamonds that size?
Alas, it is only imitation. Paste. Cost you about £1 to replace. Get this into your novel.
I'm listening.
I've called to take you to a dance and supper. And you put on your necklace in the bathroom and are almost hysterical because a diamond has dropped out.
But I haven't got even a paste necklace of that pattern.
Neither have I. But I still have old lady Formula's necklace in my wall safe. It's too hot to cash in on for a long time yet.
But that's real. Perfect.
True. And you're going to wear it after I pulled the center diamond out and rubbed a little soap over the back of the rest to take some of the magnificence out of them.
Rolling. I'm sure the devil himself was one of your godfathers.
Oh, yes, I get some devilish ideas, don't I? Well, now, you get changed into your party frock while I go in and cook up the formally piece.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll come round, bar your front door, let as many people see me as possible, and you'll open the door to me drenched in tears. Oh, and of course, you send for Marion. Got all that?
Yes.
Right-ho. I'll give you, 10 minutes. Oh, by the bones of old Formerly's meat-packing business. He'd have a fitty piece or his wife's necklace at this moment. Don't, for heaven's sake, take it off.
This will be Marion now.
All right. Now sit in that chair and snivel like mad.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
I'll open the door.
Oh, come in, Marion.
Yes, miss.
Why, whatever's the matter, miss? Oh, it's my necklace. Look, the centre stone is gone.
Gone, miss?
Yes.
Oh, I say, what a pity.
I was about to go to a party with this gentleman when I noticed it.
Have you searched the flat?
We've both done so. Apparently, Miss Faversham took the necklace out earlier, and it was all right then. Just after her bath, she tells me she was putting it on in the bathroom when she noticed the stone was missing.
Oh, I reckon that's very hard luck.
Hmm.
It's a big stone, too. I think I'd have noticed it if it was lost in the flat.
Oh, but it must have been.
Have you looked in the cracks in the chairs and under the cushions?
Marion, it's only in the bathroom that it could have been lost, apparently.
Oh, it couldn't do any harm for me to go and empty out the vacuum.
No, it couldn't do any harm. And I don't think it'd do any good. Mind you, Marion, we do appreciate your help.
Oh, that's all right, sir. Anything I can do,
I'm sure of that. Now, let's see if we can think of something between us, shall we?
As I said before, I'm only too
willing to help. Well, for a moment, let's think of the bathroom. Let's concentrate on that abode of bath salts and bodies. You, of course, tidied up the bathroom about an hour ago, after Miss Faversham went out.
Yes, no, I'm sorry. But I was just about to come back and do it when Miss Faversham ran room service for me.
So you haven't done it yet?
Oh, well, that is...
Then we've every chance of finding it. Come on, Marion. We'll go and see.
No,
yes,
no,
yes, come along. Good gracious, the fairies have been. Look what a very smart, neat, and tidy job of it they've made.
I didn't...
Come, my girl. You found that stone, didn't you?
Marion, where did you find it?
Well, I never meant to steal it. I swear. Oh, when I emptied the bath, it was in the plug hole. There. I thought you'd think
Never mind what you thought. Where have you got it now?
It's hidden away.
I don't believe you. You're still lying. Miss Faversham, take her into your room and search her.
Not her.
Very well. We'll ask the police to do it.
Look, Marion, you're being very silly. That diamond is only a paste imitation. But you really think I could afford a necklace like this in real diamonds? I'm only making a fuss because I rather like it, and I was disappointed at not being able to wear it tonight.
Blimey, paste. Well, what a beastly sell.
If you have it, give it up, and we'll say no more about it, okay?
All right. Paste. Well, if that doesn't beat the band. Here it is.
Thank you.
Good night.
Paste. Well, I never. Cheap muck. And I nearly got pinched for it.
Paste. Well, I never. And I nearly got pinched for it. Listen. That's the warning buzzer in my room. Visitors. See you later, Barbara. I'll have to go right round. This is no time for me to go through the hole in the wall. But keep listening.
With the diamond back in his possession, one would think the adventure was ended, but not so. That warning buzzer